Let's start with A.D. Mitchell. Let's not waste any time, guys. He's in the portal. We heard that it might happen, and it did happen today. And Jake Rowe, I'd like to give you the floor to just give us the facts. Palmer, jump in here. Tell us what you know about what led to this decision for A.D. Mitchell, and we can get into all the other good stuff in a moment.
Opportunity, chance to, make more in NIL. I think a chance to kind of branch out, maybe an opportunity to get closer to home. USC's kind of involved in this. It's going to sting, man. I understand there are a lot of Georgia fans that are simultaneously saying we're fine while also being really mad at A.D. Mitchell, and I get why they are really mad at A.D. I can't say I'd do anything different if I was 20 years old. I can't. I mean, I'd probably chase the money. But ultimately, and listen, I'm not trying to be the Dave Biddle of the world and be. I have no problem with it. I have zero problem with the kid moving on to better his situation, doing what he feels like he needs to do. Not only are those choices really important, but I think making that mistake is really important. And if you're good enough, you'll outplay it more often than not. If you're good enough, you'll outplay a mistake like that. If you made a mistake, and he may make the right decision. Georgia's not the perfect place for everybody. And listen, we can give our man Dana Point over at DawgsHQ all the flack we want. He's right about one thing. Georgia's going to run a lot of 12 personnel, and it's going to function as 11 personnel because Brock Bowers is going to be in there. Until number 19's gone, the Bulldogs are going to lean on him, and the receivers are going to kind of feel it. They got two guys to come in. I don't think they got that. They did not. I will say this. They did not get those two wide receivers with the knowledge that A.D. Mitchell was walking out the door. Anybody reporting that does not know what happened here. Georgia, this is a situation where there was some back channeling going on. I don't necessarily know that it was tampering. I think there were some people of people type deals. And ultimately what it came down to was A.D. felt like he got a better opportunity. I'm still every time I see that picture and I think of that Apple Watch right there that he's wearing, it's just incredible. But I
didn't notice that until it was pointed out on Twitter today.
Yeah, I saw it like right after it had happened, like the day after Georgia beat Ohio State. I saw it then, and then I've kind of kept an eye on it every time I've seen it since. But listen, this is a situation where AD picked kind of the best situation for him. It does hurt his legacy as a Georgia fan, as a Georgia Bulldog, because all of a sudden there's a portion of the fan base, whether it's 50%, whether it's 75%, I don't know, that is not going to view A.D. Mitchell as a damn good dog, okay? And that's just the way it's going to be. Those folks are going to feel that way no matter what. But I tell you what, there are a lot of players on that football team and that were on that team last year and they're on this team this year. They're going to consider A.D. Mitchell a damn good dog, and I think that's all that matters to A.D. Mitchell. But I do expect him to end up at Texas. This is a situation where rumors picked up, they died down, they picked back up with a vengeance, and this is where we're at now. And hopefully Roos didn't just stroke out on us. I saw that camera just fall over. Hopefully he's doing okay. But we broke it. The news that he was actually transferring, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll add to that, and Jake said it very well, two things can be true at the same time. Yes, it does suck that if you're a Georgia fan, it sucks that A.D. Mitchell is not going to be suited up in Athens next year. I think there's a strong argument to be made that he was the best wide receiver in the Kirby Smart era, not named George Pickens. I mean, I don't know how much pushback I would get to that from y'all, but I feel that way. And what he's done.
I'll say this, Palmer, terms relative. That terms, I mean, he may be the most talented, but I mean, Ladd's more productive. Some other guys.
George Pickens may have been the most talented.
Yeah. I'm just saying. He said other than George Pickens.
Oh, other than Pickens. I'm sorry.
So other than Pickens, he's the most talented guy. But Riley Ridley and Javon Wims. I think those guys put up more productive seasons. Nobody made a bigger plays and bigger moments though than AD.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my next point is it sucks that when you watch those as a Georgia fan, you'll always think, oh, well, A.D. Mitchell didn't finish out his career here. Now, I do think that like what's happened has happened. Those plays are a huge part of Georgia football history, and there's no removing them from history. whether he ended his career at Georgia or not. No matter how he ended his career, he will always be a big part of Georgia football. So that can be true. But at the same time, Georgia's going to be fine. Georgia is, and I think people understand that, but Georgia is going to be fine. It needs to be said a million times here. They've still got an incredibly talented wide receiver in Ladd McConkey that you just named that might have, you put up the argument that he might be a better receiver, in the relative terms of best receiver in Kirby Smart era than A.D. Mitchell. They're still bringing in two really talented players that fans were really excited about. And this coaching staff was really excited about when they signed them in December. They've still got a guys named Dylan Bell, Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint that were huge in playing a part of this Georgia offense when A.D. Mitchell was not a part of it. And then, oh, by the way, they've still got the best player in college football named Brock Bowers. I mean, it's a part of who Georgia is right now is that tight end position, and this offense, runs through that tight end position in many ways. And so, yes, I can understand it sucks that A.D. Mitchell is not going to be at Georgia, but Georgia is also going to be fine.
One of the fastest people to ever take a piece
and Arian
Smith. So
exactly, yeah.
My thing is, okay, I get it. I mean, I do. I understand. I said on the board, look, I'm not asking anybody to build a statue to A.D. Mitchell, but at the same time, nobody's saying, FTMF about Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett being on the team. I mean, and it's clear that they would have both had a very defined role had they stayed at their respective schools.
Yeah.
Nobody.
If you're going to call A.D. Mitchell a mercenary, then what's stopping Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett from being mercenaries just because they transfer in? This is college football now. This is how it works. You're going to have to do some mental gymnastics to figure out how you feel about certain guys' legacies moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a Bulldog from years past. I'm going to describe his career. I want you to tell me if you think he's a damn good dog or not. He won a national championship, played in a couple other ones, made it to New York as a Heisman finalist. He had an opportunity to pursue financial riches that players before him did not have the opportunity to pursue. It was a whole new thing getting to leave at this point in your college career and going to make money, and other guys couldn't do it. And he made the decision to go do it and get paid because he felt like it could be a blessing and a windfall for his family. So he decided to go do this thing and leave Georgia. Maybe he wanted to come back. Maybe the opportunity was there for him to do it, but he signed some paperwork that didn't let him do it. And he didn't get to return to Georgia, but he did go make money, and he left the Dogs early. And he is clearly, by today's standards, not a damn good dog, but his name is Herschel Walker. And A.D. Mitchell is now just only taking the opportunity that players have to take. It is a new era of college football. In 20 years, you're going to have players that show up at Georgia or Texas or Bama or wherever. They're going to make huge plays for their schools. They might get statues made for them. They might win Heisman trophies. And then they might decide to take an NIL deal and go to a different school, and no one's going to bat an eyelash about it. But this is what A.D. Mitchell's doing now. And I think he's brought home the new normal, and I hate that cliched term just as much as everyone else does for the past couple years, but that's what it is in college football. This is just how it works, and you're going to have to decide what you think about players' legacies. For me, I don't think you can watch a highlight reel of Georgia winning the national championship, and Palmer, you pointed it out on our board. These catches that Mitchell made are going to be playing in perpetuity now against Ohio State, the one he made against Bama, and he's part of the story, whether you like it or not. And he made some individual plays in a team game. He made some really great individual plays in a team game. He's making an individual choice, but this is still the team that you love. It's Georgia. So I understand that, you're not one of us anymore. We're going to turn our backs on you because you're just chasing a bag, whether it's for football purposes, his family, financial, or all the above, whatever it is. this is where we're at in college football. And I think that's part of the sting, is watching the sport change so much. And now it's directly affecting one of the players that's made so many great plays for Georgia.
There's some talk over here in the comments about false equivalency stuff, and I just have to point this out. Yeah, no two situations are exactly equal. Okay, we get that. But right now, sophomores or freshmen can go do and earn and get guarantees now that they at one point they couldn't do it until they were juniors. And I think that's a big distinction to make here. I also think it's important to point out that, there's so many people that are taking so many liberties, like exactly what happened and in what order and in what way and how hard it was. I mean, guys, we've got to try, okay, just for a second, to take a little bit of the emotion out of it. Now, take the emotion out of it, and you get this. Georgia's leading receiver came back, and the guy that was banged up all year, and they did just fine without, left. I still think Georgia, I believe, as Aaron Murray said on Twitter today, good things happen when AD's on the field. Okay, they do. So Georgia's going to miss that. They got Ra Thomas, and they got Dominic Lovett to kind of make up for that. They got a lot of guys coming up. Dylan Bell's going to be a different player, all of that stuff. But, no two situations are the same, but a guy trying to better his situation after helping a team, after giving it all to his team. And again, this is all anybody really should need to know, but it's going to get glossed over by everybody, is that Lab McConkey and Stetson Bennett and Brock Bowers and Tate Ratledge and Xavier Truss, we'll just keep naming names, Jalen Carter, all of them, they consider that cat right there on that screen a damn good dog. And that's, your opinion doesn't matter compared to theirs. And I'm really sorry about that, but it doesn't matter because
don't apologize, Jake. I think we're in a time now where, like, if you have a differing opinion, that you have to feel like you need to apologize on the internet. And I just don't. Who cares? You're totally right. This is an opinion that AD's not going to care about one way or another.
If I went and talked to Stetson Bennett right now, and I said, man, I think AD Mitchell's legacy may be a little bit tarnished from transferring out of Georgia, Stetson Bennett would probably think I'm being too harsh. And because of the fact that those players, there's a brotherhood, there's a connection. They're in his corner. They want him to go make money. They want him to do well after. That's kind of what matters. Is the players. And Greg Lawson, I said the same thing. Our opinion doesn't, of exactly what it doesn't really ultimately matter. It matters the guys who played for Georgia are going to accept this guy, and that's what matters.
I want to be clear, though, on the rules. Can Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett now be damn good dogs? Is that allowed under the new rules that we're establishing? I don't know. I'm unclear.
So
it really is.
Good dog debate is so funny to me.
Are we damn good dogs?
They're just good dogs. They're just dogs. It's so funny to me because it's like totally made up on the internet, subjective. You're a DGD, but all it takes for you to lose your DGD card after making some DGD caliber plays is taking advantage of totally legal opportunities in an unregulated industry right now in college football. Sorry, no longer a DGD. Hand your card in at the door. See ya.
Hey, we'll hand it to Ra.
hand your card to Smoke Bowie as he walks out the door. As he walks in and you walk out.
I understand where y'all are coming from as fans. Me having my stance on this guy, us having our stances individually as people who work here at DawgsHQ. We know where y'all are coming from. It hurts to see your guy leave, especially after he's made some really big plays. But one thing I'm not going to stand for is comparing AD's career to Jermaine Burton's. It's just, you want to talk about apples and oranges. That, to me, is a bowl of fruit right there.
No doubt. No doubt. And Palmer hit the nail on the head. Unlike when Jermaine Burton left, and I wrote this, Georgia's not as Georgia's not in the same situation now. Georgia is in much better situation. Jermaine left. It was like, you thought Georgia had to go to the portal. Well, Georgia's already went to the portal. And they got it fixed before it even happened, before they even knew it was going to happen. And that's a big part of it.
And I was going to ask y'all this. I don't remember, did the players come out and support Jermaine Burton's decision on social media in the same way that they've done with ADs? Because I've seen a lot of player support, and I don't necessarily remember that standing out last year.
I don't remember. It's a totally different situation, though. I mean, Jermaine tried to get on the field, wasn't able to stay on the field. AD just wasn't going to crack the lineup until that ankle was better this year. But very clearly to me last season, I saw Ladd McConkey just outperforming Jermaine Burton. And I think if you want to look at the injury situation, ADs to me throughout the year felt more like Pickens did last year, where he just couldn't get on the field at all.
Yeah. I think this, Wes, I think this comment right here kind of nails it. CBS 88, can't blame AD for taking advantage of the system he didn't create. Listen, I feel where you're coming from right there. That to me is a big comment, because I feel the same way about opt-outs. Players opting out of bowl games is like, listen, I got no problem if you do it. Okay, I'm not going to beat you up if you do it. But I have a lot of respect for those guys who decide to stick it out and do the team thing and stay locked in and go have that week with their guys and finish it out. And I think I understand the same thing, and I think I would probably agree with that on AD. I don't have a big problem with it. I think this is a loss for Georgia, but I don't have a big problem with him doing that. And we can poke fun about damn good dog and all that stuff. It's fun. I mean, this really is all in good fun. We're not, we're talking about a game here. We're not trying to beat anybody over the head with it. But this is not the same, like Wes said. This is a guy who helped Georgia win 2 national championships, made 2 game-winning catches. The rumors are already starting to trickle out. Boy, you didn't hear them before he transferred, but now you're starting to hear there's plenty of buzz to suggest that he just sat out the season and didn't play until it was time to.
That's a new one to me.
To get some attention.
I've heard that one.
That one's out there now. So. Guys, Kirby Smart is not allowing that to happen. It's not the culture. It's not the connection. You can't preach all that and let that happen. We need to get off that. It's not as serious as you're making it. Let the kid move on. He'll be invited back. He'll be able to come back to practices. He'll probably be celebrated by the national championship celebrations 10, 20 years from now, and everything will be fine. I won't talk to my kids about AD's legacy at Georgia, and you probably won't either.
I want to shout out Robert over here, who says college players want to make $20 million a season like NFL players. I do too.
Me too,
bro.
Me
too. If I could do it, I would.
I would walk around wiping people's butts.
I love this job, man. But you better believe if somebody came offering $20 million, I'm out the door, baby.
Yes.
Y'all aren't making $20 million?
That Texas money just hits different, baby.
Y'all aren't making $20 million? Oh, I thought we all were.
Dude, if the United States government would pay me $20 million to ride around and help people change their flat tires, I would do it. I would. I mean, there's not a whole lot I wouldn't do.
We know you love that.
Yeah.
In shorts in the cold.
In shorts in the cold.